2 of the hearing in the consolidated unfair labor practice cases, case numbers 133420-U-21 and 134289-U-21. Yesterday, Washington interpreters rested their case in chief. It is now on to the Federation. Mr. Younglove, you are up. You may call your first witness.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. But before I begin, I'd like to give an opening. I'd also like to note for the record, because off the record, Mr. Belos indicated that he was going to be recording these proceedings. I just want to, again, indicate my objection to that, and I want to make it clear that by participating in this proceeding, I am not in any way consenting to Mr. Belos's use of my likeness or image. And I think, while I appreciate the fact that he has made some arrangement with the Assistant Attorney General's, little concerned about the gender aspect there, and also with regard to Ms. Robertson, our witness.
All right.
Nobody has asked her position on being recorded.
Sure, understood, Mr. Younglove. As I previously noted, pursuant to the regulations implementing State Administrative Procedure Act, the parties are welcome to, or the public hearing, and people are permitted to record absent it becoming disruptive. So, but your objection is noted for the record. And I'm sorry, Mr. Younglove, before you begin your opening statement, during our off-the-record discussion, we also, it's my understanding that the parties have, or that the employer has uploaded 2 additional exhibits, that's Exhibit 18 and 19, into the proposed exhibit file. Pursuant to our off-the-record discussion, it's my understanding that both Washington interpreters and the Federation are willing to stipulate to the admission of those 2 documents. Is that correct, Mr. Blois?
That is correct.
Thank you. Mr. Younglove?
Yes, that's correct.
All right. In light of the parties' stipulation, the admission of those 2 documents, respondents Exhibit 18 and 19 are received. Let me move those over. And if there's nothing further at this point, Mr. Younglove, you can make your opening statement.
I'd like to call Barbara Robertson.
All right, ma'am, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Please state and spell your name for the record.
My name is Barbara Robertson, Barbara Robertson.
Thank you. And where are you testifying from today?
Tacoma, Washington.
All right, are you in your home?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you have any written documents in front of you or up on your computer screen?
I don't.
Perfect. Thank you. Mr. Younglove?
Thank you. Ms. Robertson, what's your occupation?
I'm an independent contractor as an interpreter, Swahili.
And how long have you? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say. Sorry, could you go ahead and finish it?
I'm a Swahili interpreter.
And how long have you been engaged in that profession?
5 years here in the United States.
And were you engaged in it prior to being in the United States?
It was part of my duties prior to that when I lived abroad.
And are you a certified interpreter for LNI?
I'm not certified, I'm authorized, because Swahili is not, isn't within the pool of languages that gets the accreditation of certification. I'm authorized though.
And you do interpretations for LNI, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And Ms. Robertson, are you aware of the new LNI scheduling system?
Yes, very much so.
And do you recall approximately when it was that you first became aware that LNI was in the process of adopting a new scheduling system?
I'm for sure it was throughout 2020, from the beginning of 2020. I don't recall the specific dates. I do recall a bulletin around the end of July 2020 that said that the scheduling system was coming up and that we could be expecting it very soon, and that interpretingWorks was chosen as the vendor.
Do you remember how you first learned of the new scheduling system that was in the works?
I get the broadcasts that come out from L&I.
And as part of those broadcasts, did you get some bulletins from L&I regarding its progress in adopting the new system?
Yes, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. The bulletins that come out from L&I.
Did you register with interpretingWorks?
Yes, I did. Eventually, I started that process the end of July.
And did you complete that process?
No, not immediately. I didn't complete the process until sometime in October.
As part of the L&I's implementation or adoption of the new scheduling system, did you participate in any kind of study?
Yes, I was invited to participate in a study of the registration process that was used by interpretingWorks.
Mr. Snyder, could you bring up Federation's exhibit number 10? Ms. Robertson, is this an email that was addressed to your email?
Yes, it is.
And it's from Ryan Schmatz at L&I?
Yes.
And we can read the email, but do you know how it was that you were selected to participate in the study that's described in the email?
I have no idea.
Did you initiate that, or did someone reach out to you?
Absolutely not. I did not initiate this. I was actually quite surprised and kind of asked myself the same question as how did I get selected? So, and I didn't ask.
In the second paragraph of the email, there's a reference to a consulting firm called Anthrotech Tech. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is that who reached out to you?
After this initial email, yes, I was contacted by someone from Anthrotech.
And did you actually participate in this study of the new scheduling system?
Yes, I did.
Mr. Snyder, this exhibit's already been admitted to evidence. Could you bring up Federation's exhibit number 11? Okay, thank you. Ms. Robertson, is this an email that was sent to you on August 7th of 2020?
Yes, indeed.
And the subject says language interpreter portal research session. Do you see that?
Yes.
And was this part of that study that was reflected in the earlier exhibit?
Yes, this was a follow-up communication after I had finished doing the study.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about what the study was, what your participation in it was?
It had to do with the registration process, in using the portal as part of the registration process, and wanting to get our feedback as to how easy it was to register with interpretingWorks for interpreters to register with them.
Did you have any understanding as to whether this study was for the purpose of discovering whether there were any bugs or difficulties or improvements that needed to be made or things of that nature?
From my conversation with Mr. Shukran, that it seemed that the purpose of it was to find out how accessible it was, or if there were any pinch points in which it made it difficult to register.
And then at the conclusion of that study, were you asked to participate in a survey, a post-study survey?
Yes.
And is that reflected in that second sentence or second paragraph of the email we're looking at?
Yes.
And did you participate in the survey?
I did.
And was the survey to provide more information about your experience going through the study and use of the model?
I don't recall the survey specifically. I do recall it was pretty short. And actually the content of it, I don't recall what it was.
And the dates of these emails, I think both Federation's Exhibit 10 and 11 are in August of 2020. Is that when you participated in the study?
Yes, exactly.
I have no further questions for Ms. Robertson. Thank you.
All right, keeping with our order, Ms. Wolf.
I have no questions, thank you.
Mr. Blois.
Yes, I do. Give me a second here, please. So, hello, Barbara. I do have a couple of questions for you. You stated that you are a Swahili interpreter. Is that okay? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So, you said you are authorized and not certified. Now, the next question that I have for you, for how long...
Sorry, was that a question? Was that a question or no?
That was kind of a statement, but thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Now, the question that I have for you now is, for how long have you covered LNI appointments in the state of Washington?
I think my first LNI appointment, without going back and looking at my records, just off the top of my head, was probably late 2017 or 2018.
Late, that was your first, is that what you said?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, since then, how many appointments weekly do you use to cover LNI appointments?
I don't do weekly LNI appointments. I speak Swahili, and it's a very, very small market.
Okay. So, if you were to give me an estimate of how many appointments a month since you started you had, because it's a very rare market, as you said, what would that number be?
I can't possibly estimate.
You
Because
can't possibly estimate.
I can't, because I don't have any idea of the actual number of LNI appointments that I've taken.
But you said they're very rare.
In comparison to perhaps one of the larger language groups, yes.
I understand that. So since they're very rare, they should be few appointments since that date. So what I'm asking you is, can you please give me a rough estimate, and if not monthly, maybe yearly since 2017 when you started? How many appointments have you had a year for LNI?
Again, I haven't kept track, so I cannot give an estimate.
I understand. So answering questions for Mr. Younglove, you said you started the process to register with interpretingWorks in July, and it was completed in October.
Yes,
Have you taken LNI appointments since then?
yes.
What's the, do you have more appointments than the so few appointments that you had before? Now?
I certainly have far more offers than I did before the scheduling system.
Okay, just give me a minute here, please. So when you participated in the reference study by Mr. Younglove, and it was about the usability of the interpretingWorks scheduling system and how easy it was to register and all that stuff, was anything asked of you to give your opinion as to how effective this would be for LNI interpreters?
No.
No further questions, thanks.
Mr. Younglove?
Just one. Ms. Robertson, you indicated that under the new scheduling system, you have far more offers of work than previously. Is that what I heard you say?
Yes, that's correct.
I have no further questions.
Ms. Wolf? Mr. Blois?